welcome. We're super excited to kick off 2021. We very much missed you. Last year was a bit of a whirlwind, a bit of positivity and light, and some real great positive actions, facilitating opportunities for us all just to make this year just that little bit lighter. So our handle, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at TLA Women in Tech. And you'll see our new branding, the lovely yellow Tech London Advocates Women in Tech. We've now aligned with central organisation, with Tech London Advocates. We have quite a fantastic little agenda tonight. It's all about you, quite frankly. We're going to make this as short and sweet as possible because we know how precious your time is, but we're delighted to see you all. So on that note, let's get started. So an update on the team. As you've probably seen, or you might have heard, Suki Fuller has now joined us as official co-lead. Thank you so much, Suki. We are thrilled and honoured to have you on the team. This is a real milestone for us. And also, obviously, Russ Shaw, our phenomenal founder of TLA and Global Tech Advocates as a whole, recently CBE. We're very honoured to celebrate a very well-deserved recognition by the Queen for all of his hard work for technology and business services, full stop. If you haven't connected, absolutely we advise to do so. Obviously myself, I'm a co-founder. I've been doing this for the last 5 years plus, as well as day job, etc. and other bits and bobs. Nikki Watkins. So Nikki is equally co-founder of TLA Women in Tech. She's going to be taking a step down in day-to-day activities to concentrate on her fabulous coaching business, Taisha Consulting, and she will be still with us as an advisor. So we're so grateful for all the hard work that Nikki's put into all of this over the last number of years. And then we've got an exciting announcement to make. We've got Joanna Dolan and Deborah Nightingale who are joining in from the wonderful marketing company Albright Communications. Check them out when you have a moment, but we've been delighted to work with them, and they've been helping us with our branding and website and other bits and bobs, so you'll probably hear and see more of them over the coming months. So Suki, over to you.
Okay, everybody. So first and foremost, our new website, which everybody can see with our branding, which is in line with Tech London Advocates. We have, are you going to do the tabs, Sarah? So we have our main page where we're talking about basically all the things we're doing. We very much know, and everybody's very much aware, we do focus on gender pay parity. Not just gender, but everything across the board. We really want all of us that are underrepresented to be represented when it comes down to pay. So the ethnicity pay gap, if anybody saw, we did an event last year, the end of last year, with Computer Weekly, where we spoke about the gender pay gap and the ethnicity pay gap with some really great speakers. And it was very apparent to a lot of people that we knew that was going to get wider for women, especially at this time when most of us were the ones that were losing our jobs. So please do continue to put your contact information in the chat. Resources, we have a lovely page of resources where you can download reports or check out what's going on in the news with the advocates that we're mentioning. We have our events page. We'll go about the events. We've got the first quarter dates solidified. Partnerships, if you know anybody who wants to be partners with us, we very much would like that. Anybody who wants to be a partner here, please come on in, bring it in, bring the love. And our contact tab, where you can contact us. We don't have any member section yet, Flavilla. But we probably will at some point in the future. But we do have our join where we will be still sending out the newsletters. And also we always have our pretty active LinkedIn group. So that'll all be up and running. The website, as always, still the same address as you saw on the last slide. Please do check it out.
TLA Women in Tech, we are existing essentially as an open platform to be able to help facilitate opportunities for women in tech, full stop, whilst also obviously promoting an inclusive agenda for that, across the board. We collaborate with a number of different partners, and we continue to do so. And if there's opportunities to partner with other organisations, then please do put your hand up and let us know about that. But our agenda really is pushed through 4 main concepts, and we're calling it CLICK, just for ease. So it's all about connecting, we're all about learning, we're all about inspiring, and we're all about campaigning. So connecting, you're able to connect with the network through the LinkedIn group, where members can join. If you go onto LinkedIn and put in the search tab TLA Women in Tech, it will come up, and you just need to click a request to join, and we'll let you in. In terms of learning, this really comes down to a couple of things really, not only in terms of learning for ourselves in the industry, from the perspective of professional development and coaching, it's also about learning and understanding the various different aspects of the tech industry. So what does service design mean? What does cybersecurity really consist of? What are the top 3 questions that we should be asking in the tech world in order to help align with broader business goals? So we're going to be looking at some of these really meaty questions and being able to support the community as a whole, connecting, particularly at this time that we're going through, to share learnings, challenges and opportunities, some tips and tricks. Inspiring, we have a new initiative coming up, which essentially is where we're going to be shining the light on 21 leaders for 2021. Again, focusing on those who we think absolutely should have their story told, their career, their abilities, the unsung heroes, to be able to have that visibility, to utilize us as a platform to share their inspiring stories. If that's something that's of interest to you, whether you know somebody who'd like to be profiled or you yourself would like to be profiled, reach out to us. And then finally, campaigning. We recently got involved with an initiative that's come up because of COVID around maternity pay. It's something that we're continuing to look at, particularly in the environment that we're working in. But we're more broadly looking at some of the things that are going to be coming out of ambitions of turning around pay for women who perhaps might have been discriminated against in terms of universal credit and benefits this Thursday in kickback schemes off the back of COVID. So again, if that's something that you'd like to get involved in, let us know. So there's a couple of ways that you can connect with us and get involved. As we mentioned, LinkedIn group, type in the search bar for TLA Women in Tech, ask to join, we'll let you in. You can also formally sign up. So we have monthly newsletters that go out, which release all the tidbits of juicy information of what's up to date and relevant in terms of events, things that we think you should know, opportunities, jobs, and so much, much more.
Amazing. Okay, well, again, thank you so much for having me, and sorry about the technical issues. You are my first presentation with this new MacBook, so thank you for letting me test everything with you. So today we're going to talk a little bit about something I call mindful productivity. When Suki reached out, she was telling me that she was going to have this session where you would discuss your goals and what you would be working on in 2021. And I asked her if it was okay if I did something a little bit different from traditional goal setting. So as we've seen in 2020, I don't know about you, but me in 2020, I had so many goals. I had so many plans. I had a trip in Southeast Asia planned. I had so many meetups and workshops, and then 2020 happened. So for 2021, instead of making a list of goals, because who knows what's going to happen, I want to talk about frameworks and principles that you can use even if things are completely chaotic, if they're uncertain, things that you can keep on using whatever the situation. And that's really what mindful productivity is about. So I'm going to very briefly cover who I am. Thank you so much for the introduction, Suki. So I'm Anne-Laure Lequinf, and I know my name is impossible to pronounce. I'm originally French-Algerian. I now live in London. I used to work at Google, first in London, then in San Francisco, then I left. I worked on a startup which failed for one of the most common reasons. I broke up with my co-founder. And then I decided to go back to school and to study neuroscience. I graduated earlier last year. And during this journey of learning about neuroscience, I decided to create a blog where I could write about everything that I was learning. This blog turned into a newsletter and a community. And this is how Suki reached out to me for me to tell you a little bit about what I write about and for you to learn about some of these principles. Okay, so you've probably heard about some of these very popular productivity books, which you will find in most bookstores. Look at the titles a little bit. Extreme Productivity, Get Shit Done, Productivity Ninja. So what do all these books have in common, except for the fact that they've been written by white men? Well, they're all productivity porn, and it's the same as regular porn. It's unrealistic, and if you try to apply the exact same thing in real life, it's not going to go great. So instead, let's talk about mindful productivity, which, as you guessed, is the intersection of mindfulness and productivity. Mindful productivity is a paradigm shift. Instead of trying to get things done, anything's done, it's about asking yourself, what are the right things I can work on? I don't need to do everything. Am I the right person to actually work on this, or should I ask for help from someone else? So it's from getting things done to getting the right things done. It's from trying to survive in the middle of chaos to proactively creating calm around yourself so you can think clearly. And finally, it's shifting from rigid schedules that you're trying to follow and where you kind of beat yourself up when you don't manage to do everything that you plan on doing, to instead forming habits, routines, and rituals. So that's my 2020. Basically, feeling like you're sitting in the middle of a house burning and keeping on repeating to yourself, this is fine, everything is gonna be all right. And what I'm hoping for 2021 is this. This is fire. I want puppies everywhere. I want to have control around my environment. And even if outside the house is still burning, I want to stop the fire inside the house and feel calm and clear. So, what's the difference between habits, routines, and rituals? If you ask people, and maybe you can think about it a little bit for a few seconds, lots of people use those three words interchangeably. They say, I build habits, I build routines or rituals, like if it was the same words. They're actually very different. So what's the difference? The difference between habits, routines, and rituals is the level of intentionality that you bring to the table. And habits have the lowest level of intentionality and rituals the highest one. I'm going to give you some examples so you understand. Habits are things that you do automatically without thinking. So one habit I hope everyone here has is brushing your teeth. So that's a good habit. It's good. Keep doing it. This is great. But you don't have to think every morning about it. You don't have to force yourself. I can imagine if you're the same as me, your eyes are not even completely open. You kind of walk like a zombie to the bathroom and you start brushing your teeth. That's a habit. Then you have bad habits, smoking and alcohol, but that's the same. It's really hard to break. It's automatic. There's something that's ingrained in your brain where it kind of like cuts down like the thinking. It's just automatic. So that's habits. Lowest level of intentionality. Routines, you're already at a higher level of intentionality. So that's the difference. For example, let's say I need to make my bed. For some people, maybe they do it automatically in the morning, but I know that lots of my friends, me included, have to be like, okay, let's make the bed. I know that I will really like it to go back to a fresh bed in the evening. So I force myself to do it in the morning. It's a routine. I do it every day, but it's not automatic. Same for running. I don't have any friends who are able, without making any effort, their eyes closed, to just put on their running shoes and go for a run. Every single time you go for a run, you're like, okay, let's do this. I know this is good. I need to do it. Meal prep is another one. Some people do it. Every Sunday, they prep their meals. Same. No one does that like a zombie. You have to be intentional about it. Something that routines usually have in common is that you rationally know that they're good for you. It doesn't mean they become automatic. So there's a little bit of forcing yourself to do it because you know that long-term this is good for you. And finally, rituals are the activities where you bring the highest level of intentionality. Some examples that may come to mind include meditation, journaling, or, if you go to Asia, the tea ceremony, where, for us, you just drink your cup of tea, but in Asia, there are many countries where it is an actual ritual. You're fully present in the moment, fully involved in the activity at your highest level of intentionality. What's interesting is that beyond the obvious rituals, tea ceremony, meditation, journaling, any routine can become a ritual if you decide to turn it into a ritual. My favorite example is my best friend. Her skincare routine has become a ritual for her. For me, it's a routine. I just go up, like some cream on my face and then done. For her, she lights some candles. She closes the door so her kids are not going to come in the bathroom while she's having her skincare routine. And she really blocks those 20 minutes, half an hour where she's on her own with her thoughts, using that time for herself. Another routine that becomes a ritual, another example is many people who went to the military will tell you that for them, making their bed in the morning is not a routine. It's a ritual. It's something that they have elevated at a higher level in their lives that sets the tone for the rest of their days. And so there's really anything in your life, cooking, writing, anything that you do, you can decide, okay, this thing, that's a routine. I want to make it a ritual by being even more intentional about it. So what do you do with these? For habits, you should manage them. Routines, maintain them, and rituals, you should make them. So let's again go through an example because that's usually helpful to understand these. So everyone is working from home. Most people are working from home now. So I'm taking an example that's going to be helpful for you today. So let's say you used to work in an office and now you're working from home. So what about your habits? You have the habit of having a little snack on your desk. You had that habit at the office, you have the same habit at home. You need to manage it. You don't need to stop your habits necessarily, but manage them means, again, just trying to think about them because they have the lowest level of intensity. Those are the things where sometimes you don't realize if they're good or bad for you. So you can ask yourself, okay, I like having my little snack. This is good for my mental health because it's relaxing. I like doing this. What am I eating? Maybe I can swap one of the snacks with something a little bit healthier. That's the management part. It's really not about judging yourself, blaming yourself or anything. It's about bringing some self-awareness to your habits so you can figure out which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to adapt, and maybe some of them you want to get rid of. Your routines. A routine that you may have had is to, for example, get up in the office, to walk a little bit, stretch a little bit. And now that you're at home, maybe you're not doing it anymore, but you really should maintain your routine. So if there are things that you were doing in the office that you felt like were good for your physical and mental health, try and think about them and bring them back home with you and maintain these routines. And finally, making rituals. This is where working from home is actually probably a little bit better than the office because you have complete control over your environment. So if you want to have plants everywhere, if you want to light candles, if you want to do a little bit of journaling in the morning before starting to work, you can do all of these things. No one's going to see you. This is your private environment and you can make your own rituals. There's so many potential habits, routines, and rituals that you can create for yourself. I'm not going to read them, but I'll send the list to Suki after the call, so maybe you can include it in your list of resources. These are just ideas for inspiration, but what's important is to not just copy whatever habits, routines, and rituals other people have. It's to really create your own. And they don't have to be complicated. Reading 1 page every evening, getting enough sleep, stretching from time to time during the day, doodling when you're feeling a bit stressed, taking the time to breathe. These are all amazing routines and rituals. So you don't need to go for super complicated stuff. Remember that you are not a machine. So you really need to try and look at what works and what doesn't. You're not a machine with a program that keeps on doing the same thing over and over again. So from time to time, just take a step back and kind of reevaluate what habits, routines, and rituals you have and what you want to change, what you want to adapt, or what you want to get rid of. Self-reflection is so important. This is really part of the big differences between a robot and a human. So don't be a robot, make time for self-reflection. So I'm just now very quickly to give you a few tools that you can put in your mindful productivity toolbox. And I really want you to picture this toolbox with little trays, and on each of them, you're putting some tools that are going to help you take care of your mental health while staying productive. So before we go on to the tools, just a little recap. Low intentionality for habits, manage them. Highest level of intentionality for rituals, make them. And in the middle, your routines, maintain them. One of my favorite self-reflection tools is what I call plus minus next journaling. I think it's fairly easy to see why I'm calling it this. So the idea is to just draw 3 columns. In the first column, you write everything that went well. In the middle one, everything that didn't go so well. And in the last column, everything you want to focus on next week. I personally do this every Sunday evening when it's quiet, but some people do it on Monday morning. Like really, as long as you have a little bit of time to do this, just pick the time that works for you. And the reason why I love this so much is that lots of people are going to give you crazy complicated frameworks that, let's face it, you're never going to apply it. Whereas for this one, I've managed to stick with it for 2 years because it's just quick bullet points. And sometimes I don't have the mental energy. I just throw 3 quick bullet points and I'm like, okay, done. I've done it. This is good. And sometimes I feel inspired and I have to make the columns longer so I can write everything I want to write in it. So it's very flexible and much more realistic and applicable than some of the frameworks you're going to find in the productivity porn books. Another tool I love is time blocking. The problem with time blocking is the misconception that people have that your calendar should look like this, where everything is blocked. Every single minute is accounted for. What I really like to use instead is mindful time blocking, where my calendar looks more like this. First, I block time for the things that really, really matter to me, like the things where if I didn't do it by the end of the week, I would feel bad about myself. In my case, that's writing. For some people, that could be going to the gym, spending time with your kids. That could be really anything that is really important to you. So you kind of create a safe space. You protect that time for what's really important. And then you block time for the other important things. And you know what? The more empty your calendar, the better. Don't think that you're a more successful woman or that you're going to, you're doing better work because your whole calendar is filled with meetings. Every time you say no is a little victory for your mental health. So try to keep your calendar a little bit free, which is also going to give you space for those kind of serendipitous moments of creativity that you can't really plan for. And finally, I have this tool that I really like. Despite the fact that you're like, okay, I'm planning, I'm doing my self-reflection, I'm doing all of this, I'm motivated, 2021, let's do this. Sometimes you're just not motivated. You don't know why. You're procrastinating, you care about the work, your colleagues are waiting for that deliverable, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. So what's going on? So this is the motivation clinic. And this is a way, like a doctor, to go and do a diagnostic of what's going on. Why are you procrastinating? And you ask yourself, is this procrastination, this lack of motivation coming from the head, the heart, or the hand? And then you have strategies that you can use to fix it once you figured it out. If it's from your head and if it's from your heart, so yeah, you're like, you should do this and you have the skills, but you just hate working on this. Maybe you should reframe the task to make it more enjoyable. if you really find it fun and you have the skills, so you have the heart and the hand, but somehow you're not convinced this is the right thing to do, maybe you should find new incentives. And sometimes maybe this is just not the right task to do. Finally, sometimes, rationally speaking, the head knows that this is the right thing to do. The heart feels like this is really fun. And then you try to do it and you can't do it. You're lacking the skills to do it. In that case, when there's a problem with the hand, you can get coaching, training, mentorship, get help from another colleague. So that's the motivation clinic. Little recap of this very short presentation. So sorry I was speaking fast, but this is like 15 minutes from a 1-hour workshop. So I just tried to cover the basics. 2 principles to remember. First, go from productivity porn to mindful productivity. Forget about the productivity porn books that you see on the shelves. That again, they're all written by white men who are sometimes very disconnected from the reality of daily work. And try to go from rigid schedules to actually building, managing your habits, routines, and rituals. And the tools that we mentioned during this presentation, and there are so many more, but that I really like and I find effective are journaling, mindful time blocking, the motivation clinic, and just make sure to take care of your mental health in general as well. Meditation, exercise, sleep, eating well, all of these are so important. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, really inspirational. And thank you so much for adding in your thoughts as well. If there's anything else in terms of productivity hacks, then please, keep putting them in the chat there. We'll collate some of all of this information and Laura's incredible presentation there. So TLA Women in Tech are absolutely thrilled to be partnering with Tech Nordic Advocates on their international mentoring program. So this is a phenomenal program that's global and has been an absolute labour of love. Where there's a variety of different cohorts. Individuals then are paired with some incredible, rock stars from the tech community, as well as VC investment, etc., coaches, and much, much more. Still, looking for potential applicants for cohort 2, from what I understand, as well as looking for individuals who might be interested in becoming a mentor themselves. So, but Barry, perhaps would you like to give a high-level overview?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit of my own background. I run Tech Nordic Advocates in Sweden. So for people that don't know our organisation, we're across 8 countries in the Nordic and Baltics, including Iceland and Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. The Women in Tech programme is launching in Denmark, 1st of February. And we basically are helping 20 female founders. We have Farheen, who's on here as well, who's one of our mentors. And you have to forgive me for not putting the camera on, but I'm in a bit of a awkward place at the moment with bad light, shall we say. And basically we are placing 2 mentors with each founder. We've selected the 20 founders and we'll be announcing that tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow before lunch we're going to be announcing those first 20. We had a really fantastic response, and it's the first time that we've done this. So we're going to be getting lots of advice from you guys as well in London, and doing some cross collaboration as the program goes on. But there's going to be 3 cohorts this year, so it's running for the entire year, and we're looking for new members. Unfortunately, they do have to be Danish because obviously it's funded from Denmark. But it's going to be exciting, and ongoing from that, is the idea to really create a pan-Nordic and Baltic program. So that's the sort of long-term ambition.
Excellent, thank you so much, Barry. So we'll have more news and updates on that as that grows and how we get more involved from here over in London. And then finally, we also have office hours for our entrepreneurs. We are super thrilled to let you know that there is something very, very juicy coming in the coming weeks to announce regarding some incredible VCs and high level profile angels, etc., who've agreed to dedicate an hour of their time per month for advocates from the TLA Women in Tech group to sign up with them and have office hours with them. It doesn't matter what stage you're at in terms of your business, but we have been granted access and can't wait to see what comes off the back of that, to see if we can help thrive some of our businesses, see what happens over the next year. So stick with us. We'll let you know more in the coming weeks. And then finally, we've got upcoming dates. So just to let you know for the rest of the quarter, Tuesday 23rd is paving our way to the boardroom. We've got some incredible NEDs and CEOs who are going to be empowering their thoughts and advice of their journey and career to exec level and what to do when you're there. And then equally, Tuesday 16th of March, we're talking digital tools and process, learning from the leaders who have led those complex digital transformations and hearing their stories and the impact that that's had on community, society, and businesses alike. So really exciting. You can find it all on our events page on our website, www.tlawomenintech.org. Click the events button and that will take you to sign up for those upcoming events. I really look forward to having you there. And finally, I suppose the big thing here is this is all about you. So we'd really like to use this last amount of time to delve into finding out what's important to you and see how we can best support you.
We need to share the positives more often. What challenges are ahead? Come on, people. What challenges are ahead? We all know with this pandemic that's going on, there are challenges, not being able to be around your friends and family that you would like to, but at the same time, how are you going to get over those things? I mean, I've been by myself since last March. I've only been to one other household since then, and that's twice one other household. And that was Christmas, and one time before that, and that was my bubble. And I know a lot of people are going through those same issues. You need that support. You need people to talk to. So, we know it's a challenge, but how are you going to overcome that challenge without falling into that hole? Because it's really hard falling into that hole and having to dig your way out. What are you looking for in the network? We want to know, what do you need from us? What do you need from the people in the network? Do you want to get more help with things you're writing, get more help with connecting to people? Do you just want to have a Clubhouse chat? Yes, I am on Clubhouse now. I don't know why I did it. But if you just want to have a chat with somebody, do we need to have not just our networking or not just our mentoring workshops or anything like that? Just want to have a chat. That last sentence is the most important. How may we best support you? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Thank you very much for participating. We just need to make sure that we support and connect and really do support each other.
So if anybody would like to or thinks about potentially supporting us as well and coming into the team and joining, that would be marvelous, because we've got big plans. And as Suki says, we really want to help everybody and support everybody the best way that we can.